What up? It's your boy Hitmaker in the building.
It's your boy Ron E.
And you tuned in to AllHipHop.com. Salute.
What's going on, world? It's your man Chuck Creekmer, aka Jigsaw, here at One World Studios. We are here with none other than Hitmaker. And before we get started, I wanna establish some things. I got this playlist here.
Okay.
And it's a 13 hours of music you produced.
That's heavy.
And I bet that's not all of it, right?
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. We just be working, man. Locked in for real.
So look, let me just run down some of the people here because I want to establish order.
Okay,
right
cool.
off top. Jeremiah, Jacquees, Chris Brown, Rick Ross, E40, Fat Joe, Ty Dolla $ign, King Combs, Tinashe, Chief Keef, Fabulous, Trey Songz. Like, it just goes on and on. Trouble and the City Girls. It just goes on and on and on. It's crazy. PNB Rock,
rest in peace, my brother.
Yeah. And I just want to say, like, the name, first of all, Hitmaker. You literally are a hitmaker, which is it's crazy to me because not to go back to Young Berg, but like that's my introduction to you.
For sure.
But for you to make that rebrand, at first I didn't even make the connection. So first of all, I want to talk to you about just that Hitmaker because in the stream, the question is basically in the streaming era, I don't feel like the hit is valued as much.
Okay. To me, I think it's like it works both ways.
Okay.
So the initial story, like, I ain't gonna lie, like when I was on my Young Berg vibes, on my Young Berg shit, I was really I had to do like an ego check because I went through so many trials and tribulations and like kind of growing up in front of the public or whatever. And I realized that my music was dope. They just didn't want it from me. And I think that a lot of artists that are evolving, because you could turn into being the next Hitmaker or whatever the situation is. But at that point, I was like, man, they don't want it for me. So I had to check my ego. And I'm like, yo, I know I still got good work. The music is still good. So I'm not even going to lie to you. I went to the studio one day. I didn't have no hits as a writer and producer except maybe a few like here and there. Like I think at that point I did like a couple little joints and I went in the studio and I just went in there and one day I was doing a hook and then before that, like in the intro, I was just like, Hitmaker. I wasn't like consciously saying, I don't even know where the shit came from, honestly. And I just said it and I was like, oh shit, like I think I'm gonna run with that. Right. So it was a pretty like ballsy move and I just stepped out on faith, like to even say that, to not have a bunch of hits and then call yourself Hitmaker. But I knew I wanted to change the identity to where people could receive the music because like it was a certain stigma attached to all the shit that I went through. So I wanted to just shift it over. And when I did that, it just started flowing. And then my first placements was like Tamar Braxton Love and War album, Rick Ross and Lil Wayne, John, and just different records like that. So, and as far as the hit right now, that's some bullshit. Just because it's streaming, it's a lot of shit that's happening. I think they say it's like thousands of songs released every day on streaming platforms, but I always have a firm belief that the cream rises to the top. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And a lot of people can just put out some bullshit. And I think streaming has helped and hurt the situation of where we at currently in music right now. So I think it's gonna be a big cleanse and a reshift or whatever. But I'm here to just continue to put out quality music.
Yeah, that's what's up. I think, and we need that because the access is so easy. I feel like people just try to feed the machine. Or just putting out whack shit. Like
most definitely.
Yeah, facts. Now, you have a new situation, and I want you to explain that situation to us.
Right. So with me, myself right now, I've just amassed so many different records, and a lot of people don't know that behind the scenes, I've been working for record companies for the last 7 years. I started off with Atlantic Records, being vice president of Atlantic. I did that for 4 years. Shout out to Atlantic Records. Then I did Empire for the last 3 years. Shout out to everybody over there at Empire. And now it was just a point to where it was like I learned the ropes, I learned the insides and out, and it was time to step out on faith. And I've just been blessed to have a bunch of success and have a lot of creative people around me to where like I'm introducing our new joint venture, me and my partner Chris Sean, Makasound. We got bunch of different artists that we're working with that I'm overly excited about, that I think it's going to change the game and shift the momentum of what's going on right now. So I really want to amplify and let people know that you can start as an artist. you can turn into a producer and a songwriter. You can go into the executive lane, and then you can actually put your own people on, and people that you believe in, and do it the right way. And you always just got to bet on yourself first, and that's just like a testament to my whole career.
Got you. Is Makasound a label or is it a publishing
Both,
situation?
both, both.
Okay.
It's a label and it's a publishing company and a management company as well. So as far as our joint venture with publishing, we have a joint venture with Atlantic with APG with Mike Karen and also Warner Chappell. Shout out to my guy Ryan Press at Warner Chappell.
Okay.
So that's where the publishing is. And then as far as the joint venture for what we do with the artists and the label, we have multiple homes that we furnish the artists out of, and just different positions and different spots to where, because I kind of wanted at first, like, naturally, organically, like when you think about the people I was raised up on, whether it be Rockefeller, Murder Inc., Rough Riders, with the exception of Rough Riders, because Rockefeller and Murder Inc., they housed all their talent through Def Jam, through that one parent company. I think that Rough Riders was able to be diverse and have Eve at an Interscope and then have DMX at a Def Jam. So I kind of took that approach with it, because sometimes putting all your eggs in one basket in this time, in this era, could be a mistake, you know?
Yeah, and listen, I like how you talking right now. The other thing, aside from hits, because people don't really understand hits, I really firmly believe that. Even like the underground hip hop scene, they're like, "Yo, I'm just grimy." I'm like, "No, DMX had hits, bro. Like, it wasn't just grimy. He was grimy,
Right.
but it wasn't just hits." But the other side of it is that mogul era you speak of. You know, the Irv Gottis, the Dame and them. You know what I mean? You know, Jay, Dame, and Big, but you know,
Yeah.
that Russell Simmons and so on and so forth, who are running labels, but they weren't necessarily artists.
Right.
You know what I mean? Speak on that, you know, because that's why I'm also interested in what you're doing, because it's very, you know, a very educated approach. It's just not a name or a title, but you have that experience too.
Oh no, for sure. I think that people respect you and artists respect you at a different tone when you've actually been an artist before and you know the trials and tribulations that they go through. So I can relate with a new artist that I'm working with, such as a Ronnie or a Toyan, because at the end of the day, I've actually been them before. I've been and I've took all the steps. There was no steps skipped in the process of doing what I'm doing, from being signed to DMX as Iceberg, then coming back in the game as Young Berg, and then now Hitmaker. So like, you get to see my journey in real time, and I think that's what the beauty of anything that I went through in the past to where I am now is, because like, you can literally go on YouTube and watch me from DMX to now present time. And I ain't gonna lie, I was thinking about it on the way over here. I'm 37 years old now. When I came in the game, I was 20 in 2007. Before that, with DMX, I think I was fucking 14.
Yeah.
So it's like my whole life has kind of been documented. So I just want to be someone that's actually been through all the steps and that the artist can relate to, and that's actually doing the groundwork in real time. Like with my artists, I'm creating these records with them. I'm building with them. Me and my guy Ronnie, we have amazing, incredible placements together. He's on Chris Brown newest album, 1111. He's probably got like 30 new placements. Just him being a songwriter previously to getting into his project. So we just laying brick by brick. And shout out to Toyan as well. She got records with Rihanna on the way, and it's just a bunch of different stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's good. Oh wait, Rihanna got some new joints?
I mean, Rihanna moved when Rihanna moved, but I know that Toyan got something in the vault. Shout out to Omar, Rock Nation, and everybody over there. She also was a artist featured on the Spider-Man soundtrack as well, on a record with Kid, and I believe I forget the other, and Don Tolliver, excuse me.
Got you. R&B. Let's talk about R&B. I was talking to Ronnie about it, and what are your thoughts on R&B right now?
I mean, I think it's in a beautiful space. I think that R&B, I don't know, I was kind of thrown back. You remember when Puff was like R&B was dead? But then it was like the nigga Puff went and just got everybody that was popping in R&B to be on his project. I'm like, how was dead? And like, you want to work with everybody that's actually doing it in real time. Yeah. But I honestly
that
believe
was a self-serving type of thing. I'll say it because
great marketing and promotion.
Right, exactly.
It triggered people. It stirred up the pot a little bit. But for me, it's more so like, where I feel like Ron feels avoided is that when I work with being a producer and a writer myself, when I'm working and I'm working with all these different people, like I have a really close relationship with Chris Brown. We've got tons of hits together. But like, if I'm working with a new act, and it might not be the proper time for Chris Brown to be on that record because that's going to the top of the top. There's like a gap and a void that needs to be filled. There's not really a lot of young, cool niggas that's doing R&B right now that's prevalent, whether it's like, I love all the people I work with, Ty, J, CB, but that's like the upper echelon. It's not really nobody that's like in the in between ground, you know what I'm saying? With the exception of, Free my dog Tory, you know what I'm saying? I wish the best for everybody in that shit, but I felt like he was inside of that lane, just being a new, young, cool guy. So I think the void is to bring in someone like a Ron and be able to, when it's time, when a new dope artist, or you might have an artist, oh, Hitmaker, I want to do a record. Oh shit, we need a R&B feature for this. We got to interject a new talent, a new energy in, you know?
A singer, not a auto-tune singer, like a singer.
Nah. This guy's a crooner. Don't
leave
your girl around Ron. He like, yo, man, it's getting crazy. Usher ain't the only one to do it.
Right. We were talking about fluing girls out.
Oh, that's a great topic. You know, for a young guy like Ron, the sky's the limit.
Right. You ever flew a girl out?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm a man. So at the end of the day, I think that pretty much says it all within itself, you know?
Damn, I never flew a girl out.
You never have?
Nah.
Why?
I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I'll say this. When you do that, it's an explicit type of situation when you get there, what it's going to be.
Oh, it's an overnight date.
Right. See?
It's an overnight date.
Exactly.
So, it comes with
overnight, he said.
Or it depends on how you play it.
Right, okay.
You could be like, it's different levels to it. You could be the guy that flies a girl out that says, I'm going to invite you to my home, and it's an overnight date. Or you could play it and be like, yo, I just really want to vibe with you, and put the girl in her own hotel or whatever. Okay. I wouldn't advise to fly out and do the plan B. Like, you know, I would advise you to have a rapport. Have a rapport with the person, build with them,
right,
and then establish the overnight day vibe.
Be on Instagram Live or something without you even knowing it. So.
Yeah, you know, you gotta roll the dice. That's what come with it in 2024.
Yeah. So back to the R&B. I was talking about love in R&B, and I was like, man, you know, no disrespect to Brown or nothing, but like these chicks ain't loyal and stuff like that. Like I actually want the love back, like
me too.
To envision, you know, what we want rather than what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even speaking on Brown, like me and Brown got a bunch of different records that are about love.
Yeah.
But it's just the times that we in and what the music that people gravitate to. Like, I think that women are so much in control and so bossed up at this point to where it's like they get to mirror it. Like, these niggas ain't loyal. Like how you just said, you know, like they can make it work for them. But at the same token, I think we coming back to that. Like, shout out to my sis Money Long. Like, I love that Made for Me record. Like, that's getting back to the love and the essence of what made me fall in love with R&B, because she's not dogging, she's not talking down on no dude in that song. She's saying he was made for her, and I really respect that.
She did a rebrand too. That was
shout out to Money Long, you know what I'm saying, aka Priscilla, you know what I'm saying, the big pen, the big writer, you know.
Coco Jones is someone else I like too.
Love her.
Yeah, shout out to her. So talk to me, like, like you just said, you know, your history goes back so far. I have to ask you, because DMX was someone I came up and really he helped even launch my company because he was so hot. How was it working with him? Like, he's crazy as hell. Like he was, rather. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
But you being 14 puts a whole different layer on it.
Right.
How was it working with DMX, being assigned to DMX, to Bloodline?
Man, it was very it was an interesting situation, because at that time when I first got signed, I probably had a bidding war between probably like 10 different labels at the time. Hove wanted to sign me. Shout out to Hip Hop at Rockefeller. DMX wanted to sign me. Tommy Boy. It was just every label at that point. We had a crazy bidding war going on, and DMX kind of like was like, nah, like, you my artist. And he gave me that energy. Like, and to come across from, like, in hindsight looking back, I met DMX probably in the spring of whatever year that was, and I think for Christmas I had my dad buy me this is the same year that Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, and then The Dark as Hell is Hot came out when he dropped both those albums. So I got Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood as a Christmas gift from my father.
Wow.
And I ended up meeting DMX.
The bloody album.
Yes, when he was in a tub of blood.
Right.
And I ended up meeting X shortly after, and I rapped for him. And this back in the days when you could just go rap for a nigga, and like he like, yo, sign him.
Right.
I rapped for him. And I also had a very incredible demo at the time that was produced by Kanye West, No ID, and my guy Bugs or whatever. So that didn't hurt. And I was the first artist signed to Bloodline Records.
Yeah. And you're from Chicago originally?
Yeah, from the south side of Chicago.
Yeah. Nah, that's dope. Rest in peace, DMX.
Yeah, rest in peace. We actually have a couple records that we did in a full circle moment after I became Hitmaker in the position I'm in. I was able to tap back in with X in Atlanta. He hit me randomly like, Shorty, I need a studio. Where you at? I'm in Atlanta. Wow. I'm like, nigga, I'm in Atlanta too.
Yeah.
Pulled up on him. We did a couple records and he passed shortly after that. But just to see from him seeing me as a kid to seeing me where I was in my career at that point, and for us to work at that capacity was just refreshing, man. And it's on YouTube somewhere or whatever. Y'all can check it out if y'all want to tap in.
So they were never released formally?
The records aren't released, but the live video, he was live. He was going live, and I was going live while we was in the studio session in Atlanta. Shout out to my dog Tip. Tip actually gave us his studio for us to go in there and do it.
Where they at, though? You going to release them?
They on my phone. Out of respect for the family and to Shira and his kids or whatever, I'm just waiting for the right opportunity to where I don't want any money from them, but whatever the proceeds should go. So whatever they handle that, then I'm sure his estate will hear him soon.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Okay, you know I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I want to hear new DMX.
Shit, I got it.
All right, so when the camera start rolling, we gonna hear it.
Yeah, man, we cut it off, give him a sneak peek,
All right, definitely. So talk about your who you dealing with now, like outside of your venture.
Well, right now, so last year was a heavy year for us. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I think I had 120 something placements last year, just staying in the studio and just grinding hard. This year is more so about the artists and the next people so that I'm grooming. So with the exception of them, with Ron and Toy Ann, I'm actually just executive producing a bunch of different projects. So of course Tink, who I do and I work with at all times or whatever, her new project, When It's Diary 5, is coming real soon. I executive produce that project. And I think probably 6 other albums I'm executive producer of that come out this year.
And you did T.I.'s Libra too. I found that.
Yeah, I was executive producer of that album as well.
How was that? T.I. Wait, let me say.
Yeah, it was random. Go ahead though.
It was random.
No, it was good, in a good way.
Nah, Tip is my man, and I had a pivotal moment with him in the studio when he was about to quit, and we just talked, and I was like, "Yo, you can't quit. You gotta keep going."
Never.
Yeah. So
he say he on his last album now, man. He like, Hitmaker, send me that shit. I'm on my last album. I'm like, you ain't never giving up the game, man.
And he's too good to quit. You know what I mean? And Nas to me is a perfect example of someone who didn't stop, just kept working. And to me, Tip is right there.
Nah, yeah, Tip is one of the greatest king of the South.
What's the difference between producing and executive producing?
Producing can just be like, hey, I came in and I gave you one song and I gave you the hit. Executive producing is being overly involved with the entire project and everything that's going on,
Gotcha.
So when I work with a Tink or I work with Eric Bellinger or I work with a T.I. or I work with these different artists, I'm actually crafting and coming up with the ideas. I'm involved with videos and just the full spectrum of how we roll out this project.
Now it makes sense why that album was so dope and musical and cohesive.
Yes, of course.
Got you. Okay. All right. Now, you mentioned it. You've had some ups and downs. So I've never interviewed you before.
Yeah.
So I want to ask about the situation with Detroit.
Right. Okay. So that was probably 17 years ago. So, I mean, to me, I think it was just a product of just being young, not having the right people around or whatever, and just being just tripping, you know what I'm saying? Young with a bunch of money. So that's why my whole outlook and everything that I got going on right now is just to guide the next generation for the steps that I made faults in and that I might have fucked up in, just to be like, nah, let's not do that.
Yeah.
You can move a little bit differently or whatever. But I don't I don't run away from anything that's happened in my past
Yeah.
because it made me the person I am today, and it's just all learning experiences for the next wave of artists that's coming through that I could possibly share and shed some light on from things that I went through.
And that was like viral before viral. I mean, that and it was kind of a sad thing in a lot of ways because I knew you weren't. I hate to say this, but built like that because,
Right.
and I don't mean to disrespect
Nah,
you.
you cool.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not built like that
Yeah, I'm with
either. But yeah. So anyway, but do you now move differently, or do you, or you like, is has that changed you? Because to me, that would profoundly change me.
Not really. I mean, I think that you change and you grow. So you talking to about a 20-year-old guy at that
Mm-hmm.
point, you know what I'm saying, that probably didn't have the wherewithal and just understanding of what you should be doing, how you should be doing it. But being a 37-year-old man looking back at it now, it's just more so like it happened, things happen.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I'm just a walking testimony. Everything that I went through, like I'm bigger now than I was at that moment.
Yeah.
And I thought that I was, you know, I had Hot 100 records and I was going crazy and doing a bunch of different things. So I would just use it as a proof and a testimony for anybody. Like you go through trials and tribulations, just know that that one door you walked into is a bigger door waiting for you to walk out of on the other end as well.
Do you ever be like, yeah, I did it, I won? Like you.
Yo, honestly, like earlier in my career, like as a producer and a writer, as Hitmaker, I used to like my whole, you know, you carry a chip on your shoulder sometimes. It's like, man, I can't wait to shit on niggas and show people what my talent really is and who I really am. But now, in hindsight, looking back, I just want to use it as motivation for the next person. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just told you, like you can watch everything that we speaking about on the internet or anything, and you could be like, man, like for anybody, not even a musician, like anybody that's working a regular job from the smallest, you know what I'm saying, to the highest height to the smaller lowest, like man, like I really can take this shit to the next level and I could be productive as long as I stay on my grind and keep God first.
Yeah. What made you do love and hip hop?
Oh shit. Shout out to that era. That was 2014. So at that point I'm rebuilding. I'm
Mm-hmm.
building my vibe as Hitmaker, you know, and I'm trying to do my stuff. At that point, I moved back to Los Angeles and I was working with Diddy, and I was actually working really close with a lady who changed my life, Nicki Minaj. So this is around the Pink Print era. I ended up doing like probably 5 records on a Pink Print, and I just was. She was just like, I was like, yo, can I say that we're working on this shit on the platform?
Mm.
And she was like, yeah, most definitely, because I was doing great work with her and we had that rapport at the time. And so I was just using it as a commercial for me basically to promote my writing and my producing career. And you know how that shit goes.
That's crazy. Nicki changed your life.
Yeah, most definitely, because she was one of the early A-listers to really believe in me and
Mm-hmm.
be like, yo, like when we met, she took such a liking to me that she was just like, hey, this is my studio.
Mm-hmm.
This is my engineer, Big Juice. But shit, like this your studio now too. So if I'm not working or if I am working, just it's an open door policy. Just come every day. Bring me that hot shit, and that's kind of how I went. And we made some really classic records together.
Do you think she gets a bad rap based on what you know about her?
Nah, I mean, I think that people just, you know, as an artist, when you're in the game, people are always, you're a public figure. People gonna always assume or prejudge or put some type of bullshit on you. But I mean, she's the fucking greatest female rapper of all time.
Yeah.
So like, does it really matter?
Right. Nah, not really. Not really. Yeah. Okay. What advice would you give? Like right now, I feel like a lot of artists are messed up because of social media
Right.
and looking good, or just trying to be lit or whatever, and not actually putting in those 10,000 hours.
Right.
But you obviously have put in those 10,000 hours, probably 20 or 30.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Based on how you started and how you are right now. What advice would you give somebody living right now on what to do to make it?
I mean, there's a lot of more access and opportunities, but I would just approach anyone that's working and just to say, put your best foot forward and make sure it's quality, make sure it's something that you believe in and that you'll stand on. And I think that the great music is always going to stand the test of time. So even if you do got a little clout and you got a little wave and you have a following, don't don't mistake the following and clout for what the actual integrity of the music it should be. You know, like a lot of people like I'm lit. So like you know how many girls I've run into or guys that are like, hey, I got 5 million followers and I do this, and this, but I want to try music. I'm like, yo, do you love this shit? Like, I'm like, I gave my whole life to this shit. Like, what do you mean? Like, they're like, nah, I don't really love it, but I think it's a quick lick. And it's just like, nah, you can't have that type of perspective because it's always a bunch of different people that have put their whole fucking life on the line for this shit. So as long as you respect the music and you want to be great at it, I respect that too.
Do you prefer R&B or hip hop?
Depend on the mood, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really like the new hip hop and all that stuff. Even though I do it and I support it and I've worked with everybody, I'm still just an R&B nigga at heart. For real. Like, I tap into them days when my mom was driving me to school, drinking a coffee, smoking a cigarette, driving with her knee, playing Anita Baker Rapture, slapping me on the way to school. Like, hey, get your book bag and all that type of shit. So that's kind of like the cloth I was cut from. So I'm gonna stand firm on that.
Okay. Now you and Bow Wow, so not trying to
go ahead. Bow Wow, my brother.
Okay, Bow Wow, your brother, dope. I want you to. I don't know how to say this without being crazy, but I was literally talking about him yesterday, and I was talking to my young boy, and he's grew up on Bow Wow, and I was like, Bow Wow never pivoted. He never, he never.
That's a lie, though.
But he tried.
No, but how did he? I mean, he did so much at a young age. You got to think, rapper, actor, TV shows. He did everything, hosting TV shows, executive producing TV shows now with growing up hip hop and stuff like that. I just think that when you in this shit so long, you're gonna have peaks and valleys. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's on you to really like see it all the way through. But shout out to Bow. This year we got a record coming, Bow Wow featuring Chris Brown, produced by Hitmaker.
Oh shoot, my bad.
He might rebrand right before your eyes.
Right,
you might not even know.
But is it Bow Wow or?
It's Bow Wow featuring CB.
Okay.
Produced by myself, Paul Cabin, Go Grizz. Written by Krishan, myself, and my guy Ronnie that's sitting to the right of me. So shit, we on the way.
That's what's dope. We brought your artist Ron E in the shot now, and we're gonna talk about mentorship and some other things in a second. But I wanted to ask you about the industry. As you know, this industry is funny. If you hot, they all around you, and when you're not, they can be gone in the same day.
Of course.
How did the industry treat you when you were down? And has it changed?
The way that they treat everybody else. So I mean, the key is like, for what I could say, because you just said it, stay hot.
Yeah,
stay in the studio. Stay putting in that work. Stay keeping your 10 toes on the ground. Keep running it out, because at the same token, when you fall back, people fall back.
Yeah.
So if you let your trials and tribulations and things that you're going through dictate how you feel and the energy that you putting out to the world, how could you expect someone to embrace you?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta use fear as a tailwind. You gotta run directly into adversity. You know what I'm saying? And just deal with it at the moment and just come out greater when you go through it, because trials and tribulations is what builds a man.
Yeah, wow. Use fear as a tailwind. I'm gonna use that I'm gonna steal that.
Shout out to Jimmy Iovine, man. I stole that quote from him.
For real?
Yeah, use fear as a tailwind, my dog.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna steal it from you.
Yes, sir.
All right. So Ron E, first of all, congratulations on working with such great men and also carving your own lane. Tell people a little bit about yourself.
I go by the name of Ron E, from New York too, by the way.
Okay, what part?
Long Island.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Strong Island.
Singer, songwriter, artist. Yeah.
That's it. Mr. Take Your Girl number 2.
You gotta enjoy what you write about, man. You gotta be able to do it. You gotta be able to live it, and you gotta be able to know it. You know what I'm saying? I can't sing to the ladies and talk about it and not have my own story or not go through it sometimes and not have my good moments.
Yeah, I saw your IG, and you definitely can sing.
Thank you.
Now, we're not gonna really talk about bringing R&B back, because that's kind of cliche and maybe even corny, because it never really left.
Right.
But what are you bringing to the table?
Man, I think I'm bringing passion to the table. I think I'm bringing, that essence of just, performance and actually being in the studio and being creative and being around somebody like Hit, where, he's able to do the now and the before. He was involved in it for so long, so I'm able to get some of that source as well into my music, as well as an entertainer, and just, as my character and just being who I am, and just, not being too timid, you know what I mean, and be willing to like be around the ladies and sing to them and really, you know what I mean, be passionate with my music.
Who's your favorite singer?
I got a list. I can't really say
Give
who's
me
my
5.
favorite. Man, probably like Tank, CB, Usher, Joe, you know, and Brian McKnight. He's dope too.
Oh, Brian McKnight. Okay. Wow, that's the. I almost thought you were gonna say Tyrese. That's my.
Tyrese go crazy too though.
Yeah.
Tyrese go crazy too.
And Tank, he just keeps going. That's the crazy thing. I saw him in LA.
Tank is legendary. He let me know like, yo, stay in the gym, keep the vocals right, you can do this forever.
Damn, that's great advice.
Yeah,
cause I don't be in the gym enough.
got to.
Tank be in the gym.
Yeah,
you could put people to shame. Right, shirt off, Tank. Word. So what's y'all's working relationship like?
Man, and it happens so fast too in terms of just being able to, you know, link with somebody and being able to create high level music, you know, especially for me, you know, you link up with Hit and it's just like you might be a little nervous or whatever the case may be, but you know, he making sure like whatever music we cooking up today is gonna be the best. We gonna put our 100% into it. Yeah. And we gonna make sure we knock these records out.
Do you ever feel like, man, I need to keep this for myself? I don't want to give this to somebody else. I got these lines or these songs or these melodies or whatever.
Dang, that's a great question. You know, it's so crazy, man. We cook up so much dope records. The next day, I love what we just cooked up. So it's like, I can't say I feel that way, but I do got my favorites. So I do got my favorites sometimes. Yeah.
Do you ever feel that way?
No.
Why? Yeah.
Never.
You have that much confidence, I guess, right?
Do it again.
Yeah.
You only like shit. You make a song, you live the day to make another record. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not attached to anything. That's kind of like my Achilles heel because I'm also putting out a producer album as well.
Okay.
But shit.
Like a compilation?
Yeah, but I'll go in with an artist and play my producer album. They like, and I want that song for me. I'm like, fuck it, take it.
Okay.
I'll do it again.
Okay. Have you ever thought about coming back to the game?
Never.
Never? No more?
Never.
Okay. I feel you. Man, no. Only boss vibes. I got you. So when's your album coming out? Do you know yet?
I'm shooting for spring right now.
Spring? Okay. So who do you want to have on there, or who do you expect, or will you have on there?
Honestly,
we got 2 people already, right?
Chris Brown.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
He gonna be on there. I'm manifesting.
I like that. We got Lola Brooke on a record.
Oh, okay.
And then we got
Home Team.
We got Tink on a record that's special with him. So right now, those are 2 features that we really fuck on.
With just those 2 alone, you know.
That's a fact, and it's crazy because I love Tink as a rapper, and I thought she fell off. She didn't fall off. She turned into a singer.
Nah, she ain't.
And I was like, holy, she's actually a ill singer too.
Nah, she the one.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing artist.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So I gotta ask you one last question.
All right, go ahead.
You and Hit Boy, what happened?
Nothing.
He called you out.
So look, this what really happened, right? Behind the scenes, I have no real relationship with him or whatever. He inquired like about different things or whatever, like has reached out to me. But I was on my press run with Jim when I executive produced an album with me and Jim, and I just was like I said that my records were more mainstream and he was making more underground records, classics and that type of stuff, which I don't take back. I feel like he has a bunch of mainstream records and he's a legendary producer, but I just felt like currently for this moment, for what was happening, that was what my lane I was occupying, and he was working on things like Nas and other stuff that's legendary shit too. But I was just saying I run the radio and I run the mainstream, and he took that however way he wanted to take it, and ultimately even more honest and more transparent. I seen him do another interview where he was saying some things that were more personal, that wasn't really about music, and he doesn't know me. Yeah. So once he started saying things personally, I kind of as a man was rubbed the wrong way. But at the same token, I decided to just like pull away from that and just, because we're both 2 young, successful black men that are leading the culture in a great way. So instead of just being and dialing in on negativity and I'm better than you and you ain't shit. Man, let's just go ahead and big it up and show that 2 young black men can have differences, which really aren't differences. It's just an opinion, differences on opinion. Yeah. I don't know Hit Boy like that or whatever. We've been around each other. But at the same token, the key is, man, uplift the people, man. Like I was feeling myself at the moment. I'm still feeling myself right now. And I'm feeling what he doing as well. You know what I'm saying? I think it's room for us all to coexist at the same time.
Hit Boy and Hitmaker.
I think our name might have been too similar.
Right. Big Hit.
I respect all them, and I
yeah.
love what he doing with
Yeah.
Big Hit. You know what I'm saying? And I salute them. You know, because the younger me would have took it at a different perspective,
yeah.
a different type of vibe. But you know, just on some bossed up executive level type real shit. Man, ain't no time for that. We all get money. He's successful. I'm successful, and I think that we need to keep it on that area.
That's a fact. All right.